Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's meeting. I call the meeting to order. This meeting of the Hopkinton Select Board is being held both in person and remotely using the video conference platform Zoom. All members participating in the meeting are present in the meeting room. The public has the option of attending in person here at Town Hall or via Zoom using the link posted in this meeting's agenda. This meeting is being recorded. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we will move to public forum. Each person will have 2 minutes to speak at public forum. Please start by stating your name and address. And as a reminder, we kind of changed things up at the last meeting. So with those 2 minutes, we're gonna cap it at about 6:20, so that we have time to get through the rest of our agenda. For anyone that still has not spoken, we will come back at the end of our agenda items and give as much time as we need for people to continue speaking. So with that, would anyone like to join us? Welcome.
Matt, welcome back.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marie Laskowski, 15 Loring Drive, Ashland. Tonight, we want to take the opportunity to correct many misleading statements that were stated in Scott Van Rotten's published letter and information that Joe Clark quoted from Town Council during the last Select Board meeting. Deputy Van Rotten letter states that while any member of the public has a right to know who the Level 2 and Level 3 offenders are in the community, the usage of that information is governed by MGL Chapter 6, Section 178N. But what does that law really say? The law states that information contained in the sex offender registry shall not be used to commit a crime against a sex offender or to engage in illegal discrimination or harassment of an offender. His use of the law has nothing to do with why the HPD stayed silent from 2016 to 2025. Deputy Van Rotten also stated this regarding Level 2 offenders. He says information may be shared only upon request and police departments may not proactively publish information. But what he leaves out is critical. He's referring to the 803 CMR 127, which prohibits police from publishing Level 2 information on the public website. That is it. That's all it says. It says nothing about sharing information with the Select Board for licensing decisions, and the HPD could share Sysmanus's Level 2 status with the Select Board. Deputy Chief Van Rotten and Town Council have attempted to cherry-pick pieces of the law to fit their narrative. But I would not expect for you to take my word for it. So I went directly to the Massachusetts Sex Offender Registry Board, also known as SORB. I have a letter dated December 10th, 2025 from SORB's attorney stating that in fact SORB and law enforcement may share information to the public. We were accused of creating a false narrative and misunderstanding complex issues, but let me be clear, the only thing false is how Officer Van Rotten deliberately misinterpreted the law to avoid accountability. Just another line to add to the list of why Chief Bennett and now Scott Van Rotten must be investigated by an independent organization.
You're at 2 minutes, Marie.
Thank you. And let's face it, you guys, if this was your daughter who was assaulted and the HPD stayed silent, we wouldn't be waiting 132 days later. There would be accountability immediately. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's one hand on Zoom.
Okay. There's one raised on Zoom. Hi, can you hear us on Zoom?
He's live in air. Yeah, just a second.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. If you have, could you state your name and address and then tell us what you'd like to talk about tonight?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, my name is Harindra. I live in 5 Holly Trail, Hopkinton. So I would like to announce about the World Meditation Day event happening in Hopkinton YMCA. So So I would like to invite everybody in Hopkinton community. For this Sunday, the 21st, we are celebrating World Meditation Day, proclaimed by the United Nations. This is the second year to promote the peace, well-being, and mindfulness across the globe. So to mark this occasion, Hopkinton is hosting a free community meditation event at YMCA Hopkinton from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So what makes this event special is that meditation will be guided live by Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, a globally respected spiritual leader and UN-recognized ambassador of peace, who will be leading the meditation from the heart of New York, and it gets broadcasted throughout the world. And here in Hopkinton, we are hosting that event in person so that we can collectively meet and then meditate together, so which will uplift the whole community. And also we will be joining the millions of people across the cities and countries around the world, same time meditating together all at once. So right here in Hopkinton, we will be of something truly global, a shared moment of stillness and connection. So the event is open to everyone, no prior experience is needed, and there is nothing special you need to do or believe in. It is simply an opportunity to slow down, breathe, and experience a sense of calm together as a community. So once again, this is Sunday, the 21st, from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. at YMCA Hopkinton. Thank you so much for your time and giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, nope, I was going to open it up. Yeah, come on, you can go.
Karen Crum, 12 Joseph Road. What I wanted to speak to tonight was the changes that were made last meeting in the public forum. The changes were that, 2 minutes to speak, it's totally fine. People were only going to be allowed to speak sort of in a controlled manner on a topic before you could speak on the topic again. I thought that was a little bit strange. And then the other one was that it was going to end, we're going to cap it at 6:20. And the main reason given for that was to stay on task with the agenda, and I totally get that. People are showing up for different things, but that reasoning only lasted for public forum. When you looked at everything else on the agenda, police promotions went 6 minutes over the allotted time. I have no problem with that. They deserve it. Zero problem with that. Lake Weeds, 19 minutes over. Still no concern. Pace Energy, 6 minutes over. 110 grill license, 7 minutes under. The new manager didn't show. A parade permit, 0 minutes over. So I just wonder, why was that made such a big reason, but only for public forum? I don't mind. I'm a repeat offender of going over. 2 minutes is great. I'll stick within it. But it's the only chance that any resident has to speak on items on the agenda is public forum. So if you're taking some residents and saying, you got to wait till the end, it takes that away. And the last thing is, the only reason to really not have people speak on the same subject is, I feel like from a lawyer-like point of view, it's sort of like the message impounded into people, wow, this is a big issue. But if we break it up a little, maybe it won't seem like such. I just didn't love that. I don't love any of the changes, minus the 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Okay. We will move on. So next we have public forum statement. So the Select Board will consider sharing information and/or a response to questions and issues raised during public forum at Select Board meetings on previous Select Board meetings. We noted September 23rd, October 21st, November 4th, November 18th, and December 2nd. So we did have one very short statement tonight. So with the continued comments around swatting and other recent events, the safety of every resident is our primary responsibility as a town and a board. We appreciate everyone that's spoken up, during these meetings, and we want you to know you've been heard. So through the town manager, select board members have engaged in ongoing dialogue with our public safety leaders in the community, as well as at the state level. We anticipate a full update at a future board meeting, including a discussion of a potential recommendation for a review of Hopkinton public safety and emergency response policies by an independent agency. So that was all we had for tonight. As we said, we mentioned a future item. Moving on, next we have the consent agenda. So the select board will consider the following consent agenda. We will consider approving the minutes of the November 18th meeting and the December 4th meeting. The select board will consider approving a seasonal population estimate of 18,893 for 2026. Estimate is an annual requirement of the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission and is based on the 2020 U.S. Census data. Select Board will consider approving Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 15F, Farmers Market License for Spicy Water Distillery to sell alcohol spirits at the Hopkins Farmers Market on Sundays from December 21st to March 16th, 2026. An MGL Chapter 138, Section 15F certification has been approved by the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. The retail sale and sampling must be completed in accordance with MDAR regulations. Sample size cannot exceed 1 ounce. No more than 5 samples can be served to a single individual. Samples must be provided in a single-use disposable cups. Vendor must provide suitable trash receptacles to accommodate the sample cups. Vendor must ID individuals requesting a sample to verify that they are of legal age. And bottles opened and used for sampling cannot be sold to the public. All paperwork, including tip certification and insurance, have been provided. And lastly, the Select Board will consider confirming the town manager's appointments of Christopher Nelson as Assistant Water and Sewer Manager and Samuel Jack Hammond as full-time Public Safety Dispatcher. With that, I will look to the board. Does anyone want to break anything out, discuss anything, or we can look for a motion?
Very, very quickly on my part, if you don't mind. So I'm ultimately going to abstain from the consent agenda because one of the items involves approving minutes I wasn't present for. I'm comfortable with that. That's okay. I do want to just quickly note for the 2 new employees, I know the assistant water and sewer manager is a backfill, especially with the recent departure over there. And Megan has been after headcount and communications and dispatch for ages. However, I think we need to start taking a little bit more critical eye on the new positions that we start opening up moving forward. It's one of the more easy levers we have to think about controlling budgetary expansion, and that's going to continue to be an issue moving forward. I just want to remind us.
Just to clarify, so are you abstaining from the whole consent agenda or just the first one?
Unless we want to break it out, I'm not so worried about it that I feel the need to do it. I just wanted to explain.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I think we should break out item A,
Okay, so is that a motion?
please.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to break out item A. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, so that is unanimous. So now we can,
I voted to break out item A.
Oh, I thought we were voting on item A, no?
no, that was a motion to break out item A. Do you want to
I don't think
read?
I don't think we have to have a motion, but it's okay. It doesn't, we can move on.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of November 18th and December 4th.
okay, there's a motion. Is there a second for that, for item A?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Perfect, so that one's done. Now we can go back to a discussion on items B, C, and D. So with that, I'll look to the board members for initial thoughts. Amy, would you like, anything you'd like to discuss, or?
I guess I'll start by making the motion, but then we could discuss if that's okay. I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items B, C, and D.
Second.
Okay, it's a motion and a second. And then anyone that has comments or discussion?
I guess I was just going to add that I think if we were not going to approve these new appointments, we should have stopped it at the stage when we allowed the town manager to post them, rather than waiting until now.
Agree, which is why I'm not scrapping on these. I agree. I'm going to be in support of these. I want to reinforce to all of us as these continue to come up moving forward. I think we need to be a little more deliberate. That's all. You're right. We made this decision already.
Yeah, so you're recommending more so when we get to the town manager's report, we go through any vacancies.
Exactly.
We approve that, so that's more the time to do this?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else have, Brian, any thoughts?
I'm all set, thanks.
Okay. So we've got a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. So that approves the rest of the consent agenda items. All right. It is 6:30. We are a few minutes early. I believe our fire chief is coming. And it looks like he just walked in, very timely. Perfect timing. So if you guys want to join us, Select Board will hear an update from Fire Chief Gary Doherty and Eversource representatives on a pipe leak identified at the Wilson Street LNG plant on December 8th, 2025. So, yep, welcome. Good evening. Deputy Chief.
Gentlemen,
Yeah, do we want to pull up an extra chair or two?
Who you want to sit? I don't know. Yeah, put you in the middle.
All right. So welcome, everyone. Appreciate everyone coming. We've got a few newer faces, so if you don't mind introducing yourself for the board and the rest of the town here, and then just go ahead and jump.
Hi, I'm Molly Cullen. I'm the Community Relations Specialist that supports Hopkinton from Eversource.
And I'm Jim Blackburn. I'm the Director of Liquefied Natural Gas for Eversource.
Awesome. We appreciate you guys coming tonight, especially it's pretty timely. This was a very recent thing in the last week or so. So we thought it was important for the town to kind of hear, obviously, from our fire department, as the leads on public safety to just, their view of the incident, more so like the response to it, how it was treated, and then anything you'd like to share from Eversource around what's being done next, to just give the town kind of peace of mind around this incident. So I don't know, Gary, Scott, do you guys want to start?
So I'll just give you a little synopsis of what happened. It's December 8th, around 9:30 in the morning, we got a 911 call reporting a gas leak in the area of 52 Wilson Street. When the unit signed on, they advised us it was at the gas plant and that they were asking for our assistance. We upgraded the response from just an engine company to a full first alarm because it was coming in from the plant. On our arrival, our first due engine was met by staff personnel who led them right into the location of the leak. We started vapor suppression in coordination with the Eversource plant. And then basically we set up air monitoring from there on. And then we just worked with Eversource to, actually let me back up a little. Eversource actually identified the leak and shut down the flow to that pipe. Once we got on scene, we established command, and then we kind of expanded the incident that way. We started metering in the first area, then we requested the state hazmat team to monitor all the neighborhoods behind us. At no time did we get any type of gas readings outside of the immediate area of the leak. We were there for a couple hours, just letting the pipe basically, they had to drain the pipe. About 1,500 feet worth of pipe. And it just was just time consuming to do it safely. We terminated the incident around 5 o'clock in the evening. So that's the big.
Perfect. Thank you from the fire department's perspective. Would you guys like to share, and then I'll kind of open it up to the board if they have thoughts or questions?
Sure. There's a few new board members, as far as I can tell. Would it be helpful if I explain a little bit about the facility, what the purpose is, and then kind of walk through the incident?
Absolutely.
So, so Eversource's facility here in Hopkinton is at 5255 Wilson Street. The facility for Eversource comprises of 3 large LNG storage tanks. We store liquid in those that we produce during the summer, during the lower priced gas days, right? So natural gas during the summer tends to be less costly. We purchase that gas, we liquefy it by cooling it down into negative 263 degrees Fahrenheit. It condenses into a liquid. It goes from 600 cubic foot of space down to 1 singular cubic foot, so we can pack quite a bit of energy in a much smaller space. We store that in the LNG tanks, and then during the winter months, we draw from those tanks, we warm the liquid back up until it turns into a vapor, and that's what we push then into the local distribution system. That serves about 40% of the gas supply for the N-Star gas customer. So if you're an N-Star gas customer, Eversource is using that lower cost gas to reduce the overall price that you're consuming during the winter months. So typically, right around the end of November, we start to use that gas throughout the year, and it's kind of comparative to, say, battery storage that you would see on the electric side. So we're storing energy and then we put it out on the higher cost gas days during the winter. This facility for us is extremely important to our gas supply. It's our largest facility. We have and own and operate 9 other facilities in New England, primarily in Massachusetts. So the incident the other day happened around 9:18 a.m. As soon as the operators noticed it, they immediately shut down the pumps and started to move towards the emergency shutdown plan at the site. That took place within about 2 minutes of the actual leak occurring. It was noticed immediately by staff on site, who then responded to the area. Initially thought it was actually a water leak, and then identified that it was LNG, and then immediately took action. Contacted the fire department in order to help provide some suppression related to if we needed to control the vapors. So as the LNG within the pipe is liquid LNG, and as it released from the pipe, it would immediately transform back into a vapor. And so you had that vapor we want to maintain in that area, maintain it on site so that we don't have that getting to a location where potentially it could ignite. And that's what the facility is designed to do. We immediately isolated that line. However, it does take quite a long time for that liquid to drain out. And so that's why we continued to have vapor coming from the line for a period of several hours until it finally was able to be fully vented and then purged from service. From our perspective, I think the emergency response actually worked very well. It was right in line with what we had previously drilled, I think back in 2023, and then prior walks that we had done with the fire department. I'm happy really to address any questions, but I think that's really what we have.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, was it? Yeah, we did a tabletop, or actually we did a full-blown exercise. It was almost an identical scenario that we had the other day. So just being able to respond there, we actually had a good idea about the water supply we were going to do it, how we're going to suppress the vapors, just from our training about 2 years ago. A year before that, we did a tabletop exercise with them. That was a pretty large scale. And then ever since that exercise, we have been meeting with them on a regular basis for walkthroughs. I'm not sure if you want to know the difference between what side of the plant this happened on, because this happened on the vaporization side versus the newer side.
Yes, this was on the uphill side of Wilson Street, just for reference.
And that's the older side,
That's
right?
correct.
Yeah, can you just explain like the difference between like the older, the newer side and why that's important?
Yeah, so the 52 Wilson side of the street, or the uphill side, that was constructed back in 1967. There was originally 2 underground storage tanks there that were containing LNG. They were carved out of the granite. Those did not last more than a couple of years before they moved away from that, and that's about the time that Eversource's predecessors purchased the property and the facility. At that point, they constructed the 3 LNG tanks that are now on the lower side, 55 Wilson Street. So those were built in the mid-'70s. When that took place, that line that ultimately failed this past week was constructed about 1,500 feet to get the LNG from those tanks up to the other side of the property where the vaporizers are and ultimately the delivery point for the gas. Largely, that line has not been modified since then. We have had some, we have observed that it's a long line and there's a lot of thermal contraction related to that line. So there's a lot of movement of that line because of the length and because of the cryogenic temperatures. You're going from 70 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 263 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see a lot of movement on that line. So that actually was in our capital plan to begin upgrading the pipe supports along that line. And that was slated for this summer, which is unfortunate because this event likely would have not taken place had that been done sooner.
Gotcha. I'll kind of open up to the board first. Amy, would you like to start? Thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work on it, and I'm really glad that that it was able to be under control and there was no spread to the neighborhood. And I'm really glad that you did those tabletop exercises and the in-person exercises in the last couple of years. I guess what I'd like to know too is going forward, are you going to repeat these exercises every couple of years, or when will you have your next tabletop or in-person exercise?
Yeah, so annually, we'll continue to work with the department, bring them through for the tours. We're always open to performing, more on-site training. I think the drill that was done in 2023, that was, multiple departments, that included the state and other folks. We probably won't see a large-scale drill such as that for some period of time. However, we will continue to do some tabletop exercises and then maybe some smaller scale drills like that at the facility, working with the department.
Because just like at all of us at work, we have to do fire drills just every year just to make sure if there's new people in the building, they know what to do. And just the more you practice, the more you'll be ready. And then you mentioned some repairs that were not able to be done this summer that could have perhaps prevented this. Are those now scheduled for, when are those scheduled for now?
Yeah, those are actually already, we're in the process of going out to bid for this summer, so we're going to proceed with that, of course. The work that we're doing currently to make repairs will certainly take care of the issue until that point, but we want to proceed. Along the pipe that we would like to go ahead and make upgrades along the entire way. So that'll also give us the opportunity and maybe assess other areas of the facility to determine if we have any other, concerns.
So if you go out to bid now, are you expecting it'll be finished by the end of next summer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, Matt?
Hi, I'm definitely one of the new guys. You can tell because my mic wasn't on. From a causal analysis perspective, are you capable or ready to share with us what the outcomes of your internal investigation were?
We have not concluded our investigation. We have gone through that since the event took place. We have some fairly good idea of what took place, and ultimately we will produce a report that we'll share with the Department of Public Utilities, FERC, and PHMSA, so the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, Pipeline Safety Administration, who are our regulators. We'd be happy to, sit down and review that report, say, with a designee or individually with the board. We wouldn't want to make that public, per se, right? And we've had, because of the requirements. But we would certainly be willing to sit down and go through that with a designee here. So.
Yeah, consider me interested. You can tell I might do something like this for a living. From a facility risk assessment perspective, are you able to discuss with us what changes you have made to the facility's risk profile and what mitigations you are putting in place?
Related to this specific event or through our, I'll say our refurbishment program the last several years?
I would imagine and hope that there has been a significant after-action review here, given that you had a large-scale unintended leak in discharge in an immediate civilian population area of a potentially combustible and life-threatening material. I would have significant concerns. You yourself have called into question the fitness of the pipe, its overall damage, the thermal movement and load, I believe, as you described it. As you just finished explaining to my peer here, I am looking at a bidding process in at least another year. Help me understand why it's safe for my neighbors to have you operating in this facility, and what risk assessment review have you done?
Yeah, so as part of our assessment since the event, we've gone through and removed the installation and performed a structural examination of all the anchor locations, which are these high-stress areas that ultimately resulted in this failure. So we've inspected all of those. We have found, obviously, the failure that's at the location that we experienced the leak. We also found a failure at the upstream location that we believe actually resulted or caused this stress where the leak ultimately formed. And then we found a minor repair, probably unrelated, that we made at a third location. The rest of the locations have been checked out and confirmed to be in their design condition. So those are in good shape. We performed inspections along the rest of the pipeline and specific locations and found no other concerns or indications of items to be concerned. So we feel very comfortable with the line at this point with the repair plan that we have to place it back into service. But we do feel that coming back in the springtime and proceeding with the modifications that we have had previously planned will benefit the overall longevity of this pipeline.
Perfect. The anchor points you said where you found these damage that you did during the supplemental review, is a maintenance and review of those part of the routine maintenance within this facility?
Going forward, these will be. So we do perform.
Excuse me, I asked if it was. It sounds clear that you were making an upgrade. I'm trying to ascertain what the actual safety practices at this facility are. You've identified multiple deficiencies by your own words here, not mine, in terms of the health of the pipe, the system, and now you're acknowledging to me upon deeper review that there were additional deficiencies in the line, which your routine maintenance program does not seem to include. It's hard to feel a strong degree of comfort with the operation of this facility, given that you seem to be learning about its inadequacies in real time here.
Yeah, so there's no concern with the pipe itself. We have concerns with the supports that are connected to the pipe. So there's
The system writ large.
And so we feel confidently that the pipe in its repaired state is however, we do feel that there are improvements that could be made that would reduce the stresses at these locations. So we do not have, so we don't have a position in the future that we could overstress these locations from these thermal cycles.
Was this pipe overdue, or was this system overdue for any routine maintenance?
No.
Were there any notes in the last routine maintenance of the system to potentially suggest the deficiencies that resulted in this failure?
There had been observations that the line had significant growth, not inconsistent with what we'd expect. However, that growth would benefit from upgrading the piping guides and supports.
I'm asking these questions because I want to make sure you understand the awesome responsibility of risk management and risk assessment that you have. It's very clear that you understand the technical piece of it. I hope it's clear I have some conception of the technical requirements of running a facility as well. What isn't clear to me is that you fully accept the accountability or the burden that these people are going to feel. You have not been able to adequately answer what I think were really rudimentary questions after a facility failure. I work in biotech. If we had had a reactor go, by the way, mine just dumps beer on the floor. If we had had a reactor go, the safety stand down and discussions on this, I wouldn't have been allowed to restart operations without knowing what was going on. And I wasn't dealing with a gigantic explosion facility next to a bunch of people. Look, I'm not implying anybody's done anything wrong here, but you haven't exactly given us the warm fuzzies. You've acknowledged deficiencies in your own process. You haven't exactly taken a ton of accountability around them, and it isn't clear to me that the processes you have in place are adequate for the safety of our community. I'm deeply concerned. I was coming into this, and you've made me scared.
Good.
Yep.
Brian, thoughts, questions?
Yeah, if I could just back up on a few things, please. You mentioned, Jim, that somebody called it into the fire department. Was that the plant that called it in?
Yes, it was. It was the control room operator.
And that's part of the safety protocol that it immediately get called into the local public safety?
So I believe the call actually was about 10 minutes after the leak happened.
All right.
So the immediate response for the operator was to confirm that there was a leak. That took place within 2 minutes, and then initiate the emergency shutdown devices, which we did, and then make that immediate area safe. So there was some folks working next door that they evacuated, and some other things that they needed to do first. At that point, it was determined, because we did not have a fire or other immediate issue, that we would benefit from then, at that point, notifying the fire department. And that's what the point that they called them to come in to help support vapor control.
So there is a documented safety plan for this type of breach, is that correct?
Yes, in fact, as part of the liquefier project, which took place between 2016 and really, I think, 2019, the company worked with the fire department to develop, and actually a consultant that we paid for, to develop an emergency response guide for the fire department to use as their kind of first actions, coordinating with the plant on any type of emergency response. And this type of scenario is included within that response guide.
So in this particular incident, do you feel that Eversource followed the safety plan that you guys have in place?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And the preventive maintenance that may have prevented this, right? Do you have a documented preventive maintenance plan for the facility?
So it wasn't preventative maintenance that would have prevented this, sorry. There was a project that we had intended on moving forward this year that perhaps would have prevented this from happening.
Got it.
We do have plans to implement a pipe support inspection program going forward that'll look at these locations now that we've identified that as a concern.
Yeah, so going back to the safety plan that you have documented and the one you worked at the fire department on, will you be going forward have a preventive maintenance of these support joists or whatever it is in that safety plan?
No, because the safety plan is really a response to an
Response,
incident.
okay. Got
We will include this in our maintenance procedures and inspection
Okay.
procedures. So this will become part of
And that'll be documented as well.
That's correct.
Okay. And then just a couple other quick questions. How many safety professionals are on site on a daily basis at the plant? OSHA certified, you know, the whole industry certification, DPU, so
I
forth.
think the canned response is that all the employees have an obligation to perform their job functions safely. We don't have an OSHA safety individual assigned to the site on a daily basis. We do have one that reports directly into the department that is there quite frequently. And we have others that include, process safety management and other departments that are related to safety that work at the facility on a, fairly frequent basis.
Okay. And can you explain, when you mentioned the regulators earlier, and I'm on the electrical side of Energy World, but can you explain to everyone the regulators, who they are, and what is their responsibility, what is their oversight, what's their authority with respect to the plant and how it operates?
So the facility is primarily regulated by the Department of Public Utilities. However, the facility, the Department of Public Utilities performs, to an extent, the obligations that the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration has related to all LNG facilities in the country. And so because our facility also has a FERC certificate, or FERC jurisdictional certificate, FERC also exercises jurisdiction at the facility, so ultimately we end up with inspections twice, so every other year, from FERC, PHMSA, and the Department of Public Utilities. And those are somewhat staggered, so quite frequently have them in there every year, one of those groups. They all have essentially the same oversight. They're all working from 49 CFR 193 and the regulations that are within that.
Do they have the authority to shut the plant down if they find something that they deem unsafe?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I think they do as well. Okay, last question. So, and I think Matt touched on it a little bit. What will you folks do differently going forward after that, as a result of this incident?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is for us implementing, as a lesson learned to this, a pipe support inspection program that's beyond just a visual inspection from ground level. Many of these pipe supports are up in an elevated structure, so that requires not only getting to them, but also removing insulation and inspecting. So we're going to increase that and determine what an appropriate frequency is for those inspections. So that's our primary path forward to help mitigate this.
Wouldn't there be a pressure gauge or a pressure regulator or something that could trigger a breaker to close something like this?
Yes, but which is almost essentially what took place. So that could happen, but you'll still end up with the same situation that just took place, where
There'll still be some
pressure,
around.
yeah, the pressure and the pump was shut off immediately, the valves were closed, but at the same time, you had bottled up liquid that is trying to convert back to a vapor. And so
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
There's still some there.
you still end up with the same situation.
But you're limiting how much could carry on, if you shut it down. But it did shut it down, so there was something tricked it.
Yes.
Good, okay. Great, I'm good, thank you.
Perfect. So I think, through the questions, there's been a lot around, like, what happened, why did it happen, what's been the response? Just to be clear, you talked about it, I think you said something like, when it turns back on. So like, I'm assuming that section of pipe is not running while it's being repaired. Is anything running, just so we have an idea?
So the facility is currently offline from vaporization. We continue, obviously, because we have liquid in the tanks, we have to continue some operations, right, to maintain that safely. So there are other plant operations ongoing, but there is no vaporization until that line is corrected.
Okay. And do you just have like an estimate on like, does that take weeks, months? Is there like follow-up, some of these agencies that have been talked about, do they come back and inspect it before it goes back on, just in general?
Yeah, so we're anticipating starting back up this week. The Department of Public Utilities is on site. They were on site 3 times last week. They'll be on site tomorrow to perform another inspection to review our plan. So far, quite happy with what we've presented, but they're going to be performing another inspection tomorrow as we're getting close to closing up the pipe and finishing the repairs.
So DPU kind of has the, hey, here's the green light to go.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I don't have anything else. I think this was helpful. Like you guys said, I appreciate you guys talking about how, like, you've done previous tabletop exercises on this. The response was right in line with what's been practiced. That's great to hear. And obviously, the town's just very interested in hearing, like, moving forward, the improvements, maintaining safety. So appreciate everyone coming. Thank you guys for, spending some time with us.
Chair, I did have one more thought. So the DPO, you will be investigating, and I imagine that takes some time, but can we, as the town or the fire chief, follow up on that? And can we will get all the reports and make sure that we know what's going on? Maybe they can't be public, but at least if staff could get them.
Yeah, we've been working with Eversource, meeting with them on a regular basis since this incident. We met with them this morning, we met with them last week, so.
So you're in the loop on that?
Yeah,
And should we set a time for everyone to get back together when we have the results?
I think when we have a final report, we'd be happy to inform the chief or the town manager about that. And then, again, we probably won't be willing to just turn that report over just because of the FOIA issues. However, we'd be more than happy to sit down and go through that in person.
Okay.
If I can.
Can we just address that real quick, the whole FOIA question? There's a reason why we can't turn everything over about a liquefied natural gas plant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And if residents are out there saying, I want to put a FOIA in, I don't want to read everything that's going on over there, well, you could go sell that for $10 billion to some person that wants to do harm to our country. So there's reasons why you're not going to get all the information you want, maybe. As a
But
resident
town staff
around
could,
this issue.
perhaps, right?
I'm sorry?
But town staff could get it even if, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've had situations, like actually with the emergency plans, those were always very sensitive to us, but we always made that available so long as the individuals came to site, and we'd give you plenty of opportunity to walk through those, so we'll certainly work with you on that.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I'm glad you don't share all that information.
It used to be really redacted.
Yeah, nor should you, by the way, and I hope you didn't hear us pushing for that level of transparency either. From a continuous improvement perspective, just from a rebuilding trust, at least with myself, I'd love to hear that you shared that learning around the pipe holder or pipe support maintenance, and that there's been a review. I believe you quoted me 9 facilities. I'd love for another community to not have to learn the lesson we learned. If you could share that update with us next time as well, I'd maybe love to get a happy update from you that somebody else is going to have this work done too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we also are planning next year a complete sit-down between us and Eversource to review the whole response. So
Great.
we can extend the invitation to the board if you guys would like.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you all. We appreciate the update and time tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.
All right. Moving on, the Select Board will consider approving a change of manager for the Section 15 all alcohol retail license for the Vin Bin from Christina Lombardi to Richard Lombardi. There's been a Corey and a sorry check on the new manager. Is Richard here? Richard, you want to join us?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, Rick Lombardi. How can I help you tonight?
Yeah, I think, we kind of do this, when there's a change of manager, it's not too often, but we look, just introduce yourself.
Sure.
Talk about, taking over as manager, from the board's perspective, as, owning an alcohol license, it's an important thing of part of keeping especially our youth safe, right? So the responsibility there. And so we just want to kind of hear from you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, certainly. Well, I've been in the business for 20 years. I actually own the Vin Bin. I've owned all 3 of the Vin Bins. We opened up in Hopkinton, I want to say about 11 years ago. I work at all the Vin Bins. We have a specific training program for all of our employees to take the TIPS program to make sure that we obey all the laws of the ABCC and local laws, not selling to minors, not catering to minors in any way, and to keep our stores in a safe and friendly way.
Perfect. Thanks for the intro. I'll hand it over to the board for questions, comments. Elaine, anything? So we saw the SARI and the Corey are completed. Everything else is completed. Anything from your office perspective?
No, nothing outstanding.
Okay. So to the board.
Elaine, can you define completed, please? What does that mean? Forgive us, you're kind of first up here tonight for a new process and some learnings going on in town. Completed meaning clean, completed meaning done, but there's stuff there. What does that mean?
Completed meeting clean. Nothing came up.
Nothing came out of the reports. Thank you.
Nope. Businesses operated successfully in town for quite some time. It seems you are the owner, and that speaks to your character pretty openly from my perspective. I don't have any concerns.
No, I think everything is covered. The permitting team comments were positive, that there's nothing outstanding. But we really do appreciate you coming in person because we have had concerns recently.
It matters.
Thank you very much. I did have one question for you. I know this was a late change of manager. We didn't do it until right in November. Will that cause any delay in actually getting our full license approved for January 1?
It shouldn't delay your renewal itself, but the board may be extending the licenses until January for those that aren't ready for renewal yet.
Okay, would we be able to open January 1 with a renewed license?
That will be something the board will discuss later this evening.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
we're going through this for not just, your business, but all of the businesses in town with licenses. So, we're going to go through each and, like she said, some things are not completed, like inspections and stuff. So,
Okay.
We're likely going to have to extend, some licenses into January already, but it'll be decided as a board, later tonight.
Understood.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'm not quite done yet. Kind of went that way fast.
Oh, sorry.
So, and please, again, don't read into this, or this is just part of a process that the town is learning here. Elaine, is there any evidence, anything that would suggest that there's information from the Corey or SORI that would be privileged that we could not see, but there's some suggestion that there's something that we can't see, or we're not privileged to see or allowed to see per Mass General law?
No,
No evidence?
no.
If I may add to that, I've been quarried for other towns, and it's just the same process, and it's been found to be perfectly clean. Obviously, you need to.
This has nothing to do with you. Don't worry, just chill. It has nothing to do with you.
You're truly the straw today.
You don't understand the question I'm asking?
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And there's no evidence there. Is town council looking at these as well now?
No.
Do we think that we should be having that as part of our process?
For the change of manager?
I don't know. Anytime we run a Corey and SORI, if we got something that's privileged, that we should know. If there's something privileged, we need to know there's something privileged.
There's nothing came up at all.
I don't think we specifically talked when we talked through the new process for, renewals and new licenses. I don't think we talked specifically about, council looking over, the results of all of these. Not that I can remember at least.
I mean, I have that question too. If they all come back clean, that's great. But in the instance that somebody has a misdemeanor or something, you'll go to council about that?
Something came up, we would discuss it with the board.
Okay.
That's my fundamental question. So,
We need a term that means like flag. And we don't need you to tell us anything more, but just like flag.
We would likely have an executive session discussion.
Okay.
Well, we've had executive session discussions in the past, and then we couldn't discuss certain things by law. So that's why I'm asking the question here publicly, so everybody understands. We're trying, but if there's no information, there's no information. Okay, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah. So
Thank you for-
again, we appreciate you taking the time. That more of that was us in general as opposed to, your transfer.
My pleasure.
So thank you for making the time. So with that, I'll look for a motion to approve the change of manager.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the change of manager for the Vin Bin Section 15 alcohol license to Richard Lombardi.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? So all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, that is unanimous. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next, the select board will consider appointing Charles Chuck Wade to the Sustainable Green Committee to a term expiring on June 30th, 2028. I don't know, is Chuck on Zoom or anything? I don't know. Sometimes people Zoom in. but-
There's no one with that name on Zoom.
Okay, but
And there were, in our packet, there was some information, though.
yeah, it was.
I thought we got a letter from the head of the,
Yeah, and we had an
That's what I
email.
was trying to make sure. There's usually a recommendation from the
we got one from the
Green
SGC.
Committee.
I think Chuck was in for the previous appointment possibility a few months ago, wasn't he? Or did he get appointed to something?
Not that I recall.
I don't recall either.
Confusing him with somebody else, okay.
So,
The Sustainable Green Committee does have a process where they review the applicants and give us the green light before they come to the board.
okay, so that has been completed. Okay, with that, I'll look for a motion here.
Move to appoint Charles Chuck Wade to the Sustainable Green Committee to a term expiring on 30 June 2028.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, that is unanimous.
Congrats, Chuck.
So next, the select board will consider a request from the Veterans Celebration Committee to modify the committee's charge to expand its authority to support the 2026 4th of July parade, including financially, and to sponsor all future Independence Day parades. So I think this was brought up at maybe the last meeting where, I think they wanted to take on an expanded thing, but not have full ownership of the Independence Day parade. So you kind of want to walk us through specifically what we were going to do here, and I know that was the gist of it, but.
So the Veteran Celebration Committee discussed the opportunity to sponsor or be a sponsor of an Independence Day parade going forward. And at a meeting, they discussed it, and they're recommending that their charge be modified to include that as one of the things that they would do annually. And when I did some research, there wasn't a real, charge to begin with, the way the committee was created. So I provided information through the years on how that has evolved. But at the present time, it's an 8-member committee appointed by the board, whose members serve 3-year terms. They plan and organize the annual Memorial Day ceremonies and related activities, the annual Veterans Day ceremony, and Veterans Appreciation Dinner. And they'd like to add sponsorship of an Independence Day parade as well.
And can I confirm, this would allow them to use the town insurance for the parade? Is that right?
Town insurance and also funds to pay for things such as police detail.
The detail officers, okay. Okay, and they would come before us for a parade permit, just like any other organization?
Right. Annually, the parade comes for.
Okay.
Yeah, now I'm remembering, I think it was like they only had a set number of activities or something, or events that they could host under the current charter, so we need to expand that to include this, and then, like, to your point, Amy, they would be able to come and, as an applicant, shortly for 4th of July.
And go ahead, you
Oh,
first.
I
No, no.
think the other thing that they were saying they couldn't do is the Commonwealth's 250, right? Is that a different date than the Independence Day, right? Or,
Well, it can be, celebrations can occur at any time throughout the year.
okay, so they couldn't do 2 separate parades, like the Massachusetts and the Fed?
Well, they wouldn't be a sponsor of it, but they could certainly participate.
They could participate, okay. But they only had the bandwidth for the one parade.
So it just involves sponsorship.
Yeah.
quickly. My apologies for missing it. And then to sort of further Amy's point, any money associated would then also come before us as well. So they're taking essentially responsibility for coordinating and oversight and logistics, but it still all rolls through us at the end. This is a best case scenario. Thank you for everyone involved.
Brian, thoughts?
I think it's a great idea. It's a little different than kind of how we landed earlier this year around the July 4th parade and then not having the parade because of money and insurance and things like that. If we're going to go this route and create this charge, then it's going to be harder for us to, with a public entity, the Veterans Celebration Committee, to then kind of back off the supporting it financially through the insurance and things of those along those lines. So I'm all for doing this, but I don't think we need to be having a debate about insurance then for the 4th of July parade going forward.
Concur. Yeah, for me, this puts it firmly under the town's umbrella. Citizens can be involved. They can get appointed to the committee. Everybody gets to have a say. It's clearly a town event at that point.
I mean, I'm comfortable with this, so I'll look for a motion.
Move to authorize a modification to the Veterans Celebration Committee charge to expand its authority to support the Independence Parade as shown in the Select Board packet using the proposed charge language provided.
Second?
Okay, got a motion and a second. If there's any final thoughts.
I'm just going to add that there are 2 vacancies on the Veteran Celebration Committee, so anybody who is really interested in this parade might want to apply.
Get involved, folks.
Or coming up, sorry,
So
coming up on vacancies.
there's no final thoughts. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Nope. That is unanimous. Perfect. All right, so moving on. The Select Board will consider renewing annual licenses for the following businesses. Section 12, restaurant all alcohol and associated licenses for 110 Grill, Carboni's Restaurant, Cornell's Irish Pub, Hopkinton Country Club, Co Restaurant, Pan-Type, Beaumain Pizza Bar, Rapscallion, O'Reilly Mexican Restaurant, Hopkinton Center for the Arts, Arcos Hospitality. Section 12, Club, all alcohol and associated licenses for the Woodville Rod and Gun Club. Section 12, Restaurant, Wine and Malt and associated licenses for the Spoon. Section 19C, Farmer Brewery pouring permit for Startline Brewing. Section 15, Package Store, all alcohol licenses for Hopkinton Wine and Spirits, Marty's Fine Wines, The Vin Bin, and Country Farm Liquors. Section 15, package store wine and malt license for Global Montello Group, All Town Fresh. Common vic license for the Spoonery, Dunkin' Donuts at 78 West Main Street, Muffin House Cafe, Aramark at Dell for 176 South Street and 228 South Street, Blue Square Pizza, South Street Donuts at 76 South Street, Starbucks at Price Chopper, Starbucks Coffee at 85 West Main Street, Red Barn Coffee at Angel's Cafe, Domino's Pizza, Crust & Co. Class 1 and Class 2 licenses for Bulldog Fire Apparatus, Whitehall Auto Sales, Inc., WSAB Enterprise, and Main Street Service Center. Livery and limousine license for Able Limousine. Municipal street license for Metro West Regional Transit Authority. And as part of this, the Select Board will consider granting an extension of licenses for businesses who the annual inspections are not yet complete or for whom an application has not been submitted, which the latter is just for Hopio. So with that, Elaine, you want to walk us through the best way? Should we just go through these? We've got some people here in attendance. I'd prefer to start with, who's here presently to, move it along quickly.
So there are 7 applications that are complete and fully inspected and can be acted on this evening. The rest of them are still outstanding in some way, and you have a spreadsheet in the packet that shows where they are in their inspections. It's the one with the orange and green on it. It's called 2025 Annual Fire Building Electrical Inspections.
Yep.
So those have not been completed, the ones that are in yellow and green, so there's only a few, or in white, but there's only a few that are ready, and that's the South Street Donuts common victualler license, the one for Dunkin' Donuts on West Main Street, the Spoonery, Marty's Fine Wines, Metro West Regional Transit Authority, WSAB Enterprise. And then separately, the Hopkinton Spoon is ready, but they're seeking a change in operations, hours of operation for the alcohol license, so that should require a separate vote and consideration of that.
So we could probably go ahead and approve those first 6, and then the Spoon is here. We can talk to them. Right, okay.
Okay? So, I mean, the Spoon's present. Do you want to?
Yeah, or do we want to get these 6 done first and then?
We can do the 6 first. That's probably quicker.
Let's bank them out.
Yep.
Motion to approve the 6 licenses.
I think it's these first ones.
Is it the, I move to renew the following annual licenses. The common vic license for South Street Donuts at 76 South Street. The common vic license, entertainment license for Dunkin' Donuts at 78 West Main Street. The common vic entertainment license at the Spoonery. Section 15, all alcohol, package store license, Marty's Fine Wine. Hours 12 to 6 on Sunday, 10 to 9, Monday to Saturday. Municipal street license, Metro West Regional Transit Authority, and a Class 2 license for the WSAB Enterprise.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. So I'm going to open up for discussion. Brian, you want to start?
So Elaine, for these 6 that we're voting on now, can you explain the process of the application and what was required for them to submit and what we had to check as a community about the applicants and so forth?
So every applicant must submit the town's general license application and indicate which licenses they're seeking renewal of. In addition, anyone receiving an alcohol license submits the ABCC required paperwork as well. We also, Corey and Sori, the managers and owners of these businesses as well, and these are clean. Nothing came up on any of them. So that's our process this year. And then they do get reviewed by, any changes get reviewed by a permitting team as well.
And all those are fine as well.
Yeah, there are no changes to most of these.
Okay.
Or to any of these 6.
Other questions? All right, Matt,
I'm good on these.
Amy?
No.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, that is unanimous for those 6. And so then moving on to the next thing, we'll look at the Spoon specifically and the changes. So if you'd like to join us, I'm going to recuse myself for relationship reasons here. So Brian, you want to walk us through this one?
Sure.
Or,
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Welcome. Elaine, can you introduce this one for us, please?
Sure. So the Spoon has requested a change to their hours specifically on Sundays, and they'd like to serve alcohol at 8 a.m. any day of the week, or in the alternative, certain specific days. And one thing we did note in reviewing this is that state law prohibits us from issuing alcohol licenses before 10 a.m. on Sundays. So
Okay.
we're not able to issue licenses before 10 a.m. on Sundays. But for the other days of the week, it's at the board's discretion.
Okay, thank you. Sam, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I just think as we've expanded our business, we've had a really great team that has worked hard to expand our alcohol mimosas, Startline beer, and we really want to be able to promote that to more people. I think it's really hard because we're only open 7 to 2, 7 days a week, so we only get 4 hours from 10 to 2 every day to really allow our guests to participate in everything that we have to offer. As we've expanded our outreach to more communities, we've had people that want to come in and participate in the hard work that our team has done in providing these services. And then we have to tell them, oh, we're sorry, we can't serve until 10. We would like to be able to showcase all that we have to a greater number of guests in our area. And our team has worked really hard to, everyone's tip certified out front. Everybody is conscious and aware of the responsibility that we have to the community to be responsible members serving alcohol, and we take that very seriously at the Spoon. We just want to be able to meet as many people in our hours of operation that we can, and be able to showcase what we've worked really hard for.
Great, thank you. Matt, any questions?
Nope.
Amy?
Were there any permitting team comments about the change of hours? No. No, okay. And do we have other restaurants that are allowed to open, to serve alcohol at 8? Or this would be the only one so far?
Only for special days.
On special days, okay. I don't think I really have any objection, but I was just wondering what the precedent was here.
It's an interesting point, though. I hadn't considered that. Any concern on your side about setting the precedent, Brian? So it makes sense here. This is very contained, very justified. I understand it, but I also don't want to have a conversation like a Chinese place asking me about doing it at 8 a.m. And I picked Chinese generically. A restaurant, better answer.
I think it's also different because we're only wine and malt beverages, so
Yeah.
it's not like we're serving hard liquor at 8, 9 a.m. It's very contained to, we serve Startline beer and mimosas, and it's not going much beyond that.
Yeah, I'm less worried about what's going to happen in your shop than Amy raises a really good point.
Yeah.
We can only vote on what's in front of us.
So have there been any alcohol violations since you guys have had a license over the years? How many years have you had one now?
This spring will be 10 years that we've been open.
And no violations?
Nope.
Have you ever had a sting operation in the restaurant?
No.
Okay, great. I think with that history, I feel pretty good about it. I'm not an 8 a.m.
And our
person.
food service aligns with those hours of operation that people are accustomed to in town. So they're used to coming out and eating our food at 8, 9 a.m. as opposed to other places who may open and not be serving breakfast in the way that we do, alongside of food.
Also, never not seen a member of the HPD there. We're talking about the place where you're most likely to be drinking next to a policeman.
Yeah, we're
I think you said it well, Sam. The town takes these things very seriously. I know you folks take it very seriously, too. I'm going to continue to get my tuna melt, but I don't have a beer at lunchtime because I work full-time all day. But anyway, so with that, I think the kind of chair is ready for a motion.
Okay. It's a two-part motion, it looks like. So I move to renew the Section 12 restaurant wine and malt license, common vic and entertainment license for the Hopkins Spoon with the following change. Alcohol may be served Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Alcohol may be served on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. All set.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so this brings us back to all the license holders that either incomplete, don't have inspections finished, just all the above. So before we go through that, I want to make sure, like, this list that we have in front of us, I can't count how many there are. It's quite a list. Are there any businesses not included in this list that have a license? This is a complete, comprehensive list.
It's a complete list.
Okay, perfect. So then, so there's a motion to grant an extension, which would mean we said set a date no earlier than January 7th. That's right after our next meeting, right? I think our next meeting is January 6th, so this would give us time to, come back reasonably. So I will kind of open this up to the board to start, thoughts on this. I think, from a timing perspective, we've done this in the past, but this year there's been a lot of conversation around the license process, the renewals. We just want to make sure we're being thoughtful here. So I want to hear from the board on their thoughts and recommendations. Matt, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I'm sensitized here too, because I'm looking at the list, and from my perspective, some of these we've just issued licenses to, so it feels very strange to kind of already be back here, like Rapscallion was just here, I just met the guy. So in some senses, I don't even feel the same about granting an extension to all the businesses, not that I'm opposed, but some of them I feel like I just made the decision, so obviously I'm comfortable with their operation. I don't think we can swing the hammer so far that it's just, no extensions, get it all done. It's not reasonable to the town, it's not reasonable to the businesses, and that wasn't the intention of what we were after. I think Brian was asking the right questions earlier. It was about, do we have the right information? Have we asked the questions the community has indicated that they want us asking to ensure their safety? And from our actual town staffs and SMEs, are there any concerns? Because that's all we're supposed to be doing. I really tried to take Brian's comments to heart last time about what is our right-sized role here. I'm comfortable granting an extension in the context that the town needs time to do the work that they have been asked to do. We can't ask them to do any more or any less. I do feel a little bit differently about Hopio having not submitted something. I don't know that I just want to be offering a blanket extension to a business that is not engaged in the process. Everybody else here, I can make a very simple argument, has engaged in good faith.
And
Amy?
when we got our packet, Hopio had not applied. They still have not applied?
They have not.
Okay, so we don't know.
They could apply tomorrow, and you don't meet again until January.
Right. Yeah, but they intend to stay open as far as we know, but they haven't said. And then I guess if some of these I can see they're, minor issues or maybe even bigger issues, but if it was a real safety issue, like an electrical thing that was causing safety or a health issue, they would be shut down immediately, even if we extend them, right?
Or it would be fixed right away.
Or be fixed right away. Yeah, okay. So I totally understand it takes a long time to get all the inspections done, and that if a minor problem is noticed, then it's going to take time to get a repair person in to fix the thing. So I'm very comfortable extending till January 7th.
You said you are very
I'm comfortable extending to January 7th, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Brian?
I don't really have any questions. I mean, we've been through a lot over the licensing process. I think we've learned a lot. I think we're doing a couple things differently. I know we're doing a couple things differently, so I'm okay. I don't know what's up with Hopio. I don't want to put them out of business or anything like that. So what's going to happen here, Lane, if we don't do anything with them tonight? We don't extend?
Their license would not be extended beyond December 31st.
So
I'm comfortable still extending. I'd say consider bell rung. I don't want to be doing favors for people who haven't asked for favors. That's a bad business for us to be in, but I don't want to put them out of business either. Fair point.
what we could do is we could extend the others, extend Hopio to January 15th, and by then they have to do something, so we know what's going on, and then we could extend again. And at least that way we'd get some engagement with them, maybe.
So you're saying give them more
time?
Well, I don't know what they were talking about, yeah. So.
No, I think we were talking about January 7th. So in that scenario, you're saying they would get more time than everyone else, just to clarify.
Yeah, no, that's not what I meant.
We can do we can do everybody the 7th. I think I just wanted to make the point to the business. Come get engaged. It's also not fair to the people over there. This is less grandstanding and more just wanting to respect town staff.
Yeah, I think we should expect that the application will be submitted by January 7th, even if all the inspections aren't quite done.
I mean,
Yeah.
so like a couple things. One, first and foremost, we've got pretty much everyone here is an applicant, right? With partial review done so far. Any red flags that we should know about on any of the applicants?
Any of the outstanding items are shown on that spreadsheet. Everything is doable.
Yep. Nope, but I've got the spreadsheet up. I just want to, ask that out loud and just.
But no cagey answers from anybody about we can't answer that question or we can't provide information, none of that stuff.
No, and none of it has to do with Corey or Sori. It's all physical.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, there's definitely some electrical issues that need to be resolved. Things, sprinklers haven't been tested.
Or perhaps fees.
I just wanted, I just wanted to give it, a very direct, approach to it. So, and then my only other question is, like right now, technically Hopio isn't an applicant, right? So we're granting an extension to just a current license holder that isn't applying. I don't know. I kind of share the sentiment around this is strange. We've got all these other businesses the application is done. We're not expecting, hey, like this needs to be done by, December 1st. So I think where Brian was trying to go was something sooner. I'd love to figure out, I don't know if we could do a conditional extension to January 7th, dependent upon them getting an application in by the end of the week. I don't know if that's a great idea, but I'd like them, for everyone's sake, to move forward with the application. Like, we don't want this dragging out for the town hall. I don't know if that's reasonable. I'll look to the rest of the board on an idea like that. It's just, I kind of share the sentiment.
Or maybe an application in by December 31st, because that's when it would expire.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Is town hall closed on the 31st, though? No.
No,
Okay.
half day maybe.
What
now-
was that? Half day, though.
So when we say an application to be submitted by the end of the calendar year,
Okay.
and then provided that they do, we are comfortable also extending them to the 7th with everybody else. If they don't, then they didn't submit.
So then they would not have a license as of January 1st in that scenario.
If they don't submit an application.
If they do not submit the application
Yep.
by the end of the calendar year, they will not get, the extension will fall apart, and then they will not have a license as of January 1st. I'm just making sure we're all being very clear about this.
Yep.
If they could get it eventually when they finally, maybe they're on vacation till February or March, I don't know.
So
Buy frozen yogurt.
But this could be as simple as an email to the town, too.
it's an email, it's a phone call. These things can get done from out of state.
Yeah, I'm good.
That would be my recommendation. So
Makes sense.
I would look for a motion, and then I would probably amend it or have someone amend it to include that conditional language. So
I will make a motion to consider granting an extension, where are you pointing me toward?
this whole motion, if you see this language up here.
And I got to read them all?
Well, you can say as listed.
Thank you. I move to grant an extension of the following licenses as listed in the Select Board agenda, excepting for Hopio, provided Hopio submits an application by 31 December. All businesses listed will be considered for extension up until 07 January, the day after the next Select Board meeting.
And is that in order? We don't have to read them all out? Is that in order, or do we have to read them all out?
That's in order, you're just accepting the ones you already renewed,
Yep.
obviously.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
One thing to consider, knowing this is the time of year where we have storms and so forth, do you want to do it the day after the January 6th, planned meeting, or?
Good point. I would recommend.
After next Select Board meeting.
She's recommending extending it even beyond that.
Maybe to the end of that week or something, just in case we have to move the meeting date.
Schedule the
Yeah, so like if a snowstorm rolls in on the 6th and we have to cancel the meeting,
Yeah.
we'd be able to, by open meeting law, we can reschedule that for Thursday that week, for instance, right?
Something.
So why don't we amend the two, 1 week after the next Select Board, 1 week after the first Select Board meeting in 2026.
So we can say
January
January 13th.
13th,
I'm trying to allow for the fact that we don't meet on January 6th.
so 13th.
Yeah, so we'll just say January 13th.
Okay.
That's fine.
So there would be an amendment to that, acceptable?
Yep.
All right, so we've got a motion, a second. Any final thoughts?
We're going to send an email to all of these folks, Elaine, and let them know what's going on here.
Yes, we'll communicate.
Thank you.
Okay. And anyone else? All right, then. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous. All right. Moving on. The Select Board will consider voting to open the annual town meeting warrant on January 2nd, 2026, and reviewing draft articles. The annual town meeting warrant would close on February 1st, 2026. Elaine, would you like to introduce this one? I mean, we just had a very recent special town meeting, so it should be very fresh in people's minds, but
So now it's time to plan for the next town meeting, which would be May 2nd on a Saturday. The warrant opens in January and closes the beginning of February, so we plan way ahead. And so what the warrant opening means that people can submit articles, and they get submitted to town clerk's office or town manager's office.
perfect.
And we'll put out notices to that effect.
Yep. And again, as a reminder, like this is standard to how we do this every year for town meeting.
Correct. Yep.
First of the year, warrant opens, they have a month to submit articles. Obviously, in that time, the town will be submitting articles on their own, the different departments. And then now, as we voted this year, it'll be the first Saturday of May that we'll be meeting. I think you said the 2nd. So with that, the board, Amy, you want to start? Thoughts? Any thoughts, comments?
No, I mean, this is specified in the charter, so I agree we need to open the warrant and set the date. Do we set the date for the closing or that too? We'll set the date for when it closes too.
February 1st?
Yep.
February 1st. Okay. Yep. And then we have a list of potential articles we could add as placeholders. So.
Good.
So
And all articles submitted go on the warrant? The board does not have the authority to remove any?
Yep.
but our own we can withdraw.
People can
Correct.
withdraw them.
Correct.
We can withdraw our own, but not right. The other boards, not the other boards. Yeah.
Let's do this.
Ryan?
Just a general comment about town meeting coming up. We just had a town meeting the other day. We voted overwhelmingly to reduce the levy a little bit, bringing the tax burden down just a touch. Your tax bills are still going up, though. They're going up a lot starting in January. So what we do next May in terms of any more purchases, any more builds, any more new this, new that, is going to put a lot more pressure on the tax bills that are already going to be very, very high. They're going to be a little less because of that town meeting the other day, but they're still going up. I think some folks were in that room thinking their tax bill was going down.
No.
That is not the case. Their tax bill didn't go up as much, is really what we did there the other night. If we put a lot of articles on the town meeting warrant in May, and they have a dollar sign associated with them, that's going to put even more pressure on our taxes. So please be mindful of that as we put together these articles.
With that, did we already get a motion?
I
I don't think we got a motion yet.
can make a motion. I move to open the 2026 annual town meeting warrant on January 2nd, 2026.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any final thoughts? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous.
And before we leave this agenda item, I had submitted a memo with potential articles that the board might want to consider that we've talked about, or people have talked about over the last year for your consideration. We don't have to submit those now, but we can do that in January, but
Yeah, I forgot.
put them out there.
Yeah, though, we could review the draft articles. So I'm pulling that up now. I think I'll just kind of read through some of the topics and, think, what do we do? Civil fingerprinting was one. And they're in licenses subject to fingerprinting. A common vic license for an ice cream truck vendor, police department procedure.
TIF.
Yep, the TIF is a big one. That was for the paddle, right? So I agree. I think that one needs to be discussed. We haven't talked about that in several meetings. New revolving funds, disposition of Woody Island Road lot.
E-bikes was the last.
E-bikes, yeah. So there's a couple. Does anyone want to talk about anything now? I think, as we get into January, our first meeting's on the 6th. This will be, we'll have to put a lot of attention into these and discuss them as a whole.
Yep.
I think as of right now, we're planning for full attendance for that meeting. My preference would be to, hold off and talk about these in detail at that time. But if anyone would like to talk about anything tonight, I'd love to hear it.
No, my only thought would be that I may bring something around water and sewer, but that's in alignment with the goals that we adopted mutually as a board. So nothing shocking or surprising.
I did have a question. What are the two new revolving funds that we might?
So one of them is as you recall, we did the municipal aggregation. And part of that, the town gets some funds from that. And it's supposed to be spent on energy-related projects, programs, and outreach, program administration. So we'd separate it out so it can be spent.
Okay, so we have to create a fund that we can put that money in.
And the other one is the town, we've been working for years to have a municipal electric vehicle charging station, and maybe if 2027 is the year, it'd be nice to have a fund for that to go into for its maintenance and repairs. If it happens.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think we could wait till our next meeting to put them in the warrant, but yeah.
Yeah. Matt, were you going to say something? All right. So I think with that, unless anyone has anything else, we don't need to discuss right now.
I just want to mention, so the TIF for the pickleball facility will be coming at your next meeting for your review.
Yeah.
It's in draft form.
Yeah. And so just to be clear, that comes to us for select board approval, but it's still going to town meeting either way.
Not seeking approval at this point, just to touch base and see where we are, see if the board has any feedback on the draft.
Yeah. But sorry, I forget. Does that need to go to town meeting regardless for approval, correct?
It would have to go to town meeting for approval,
Yeah, no matter what.
but only if the board is in favor.
If the board doesn't recommend it, it doesn't go to town meeting. Okay.
You can't submit it as a citizen's petition, or,
It's a good question.
okay.
Okay. Well, oh, good to know. So we'll be discussing that in a few weeks. All right. I think that brings us to the town manager report.
Okay. So just,
I did think of one other town meeting question, if it's okay. Sorry to interrupt. So it's going to be on Saturday. It's in the calendar and everything. And have we secured, it'll be in the middle school auditorium? Okay. And that have we communicated with all the town sports organizations and the schools about that that's the date, and if possible, not to schedule things?
it's, as I understand, the location is ready, it's booked for us.
Okay. But we can't control the music festivals and this Little League and all that? Okay. But it would be good if we could communicate that to everyone, if they are able to not schedule their events that day. Okay, sorry, go.
Nope, all good. It's a good call out. Elaine?
So at the last meeting, there was questions about the bike lane and the Main Street Corridor project and what's outstanding. And so I did get an update on that from Nicole Bradsos, who's our construction manager. The bike lane will remain under construction until all final road paving is complete. At this time, the street crossings will be painted, the bike lane will be striped, the installed bicycle-related traffic lights will be activated, and bike-related signs will be installed. So the remaining items are painted green street crossings, bike lane striping and markings, including directional markings and stop lines, traffic signs, traffic signals, a bike repair station at the center trail, and bike racks. So that's what's remaining related to the bike lanes.
Okay.
With respect to town department position vacancies, the Department of Public Works has a vacant heavy equipment operator position, and they are requesting a posting of that position. And the sealer of weights and measures position, as you know, our sealer of weights and measures passed away, and that is a position that we are required to have either through hiring our own person or contracting with the state to perform those inspections. But either way, we pay for that work.
Okay. I'll look to the board. We brought this up earlier tonight on, thoughts. I think, anyone have any comments on these two positions?
So some of this, Elaine, is I think I really want to be looking to you in terms of there is a degree of if it's coming before us and the recommendation is here, I choose to respect your authority and believe that that means that it's been vetted. Some of this is me just wanting to kind of reinforce and say it out loud and to say it visibly. I think there's been quite a bit of us actually like just deliberately saying things in public tonight. This to me is just a little bit of like a saying it in public. There is no backfill position that is bad. There is no mandatory position that is bad. That's clearly work that was already supporting the town. I just wanted to signal that I know hard conversations are coming about this. The sooner we can be strategic about how we plan for those, how we develop internal skills and redundancies, the easier some of these conversations get. But I just want to make sure we're having those hard conversations downward and that ultimately not every request for headcount is coming to the board, because I think we're going to soon find ourselves in a position where that's not tenable.
Perfect. Brian?
I'm all set.
Any thoughts?
All set.
I'm good.
So we have a motion.
There is a motion for this one.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the posting of the heavy equipment operator and sealer of weights and measures positions.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any thoughts? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'll abstain.
And one abstention. Thank you. All right, back to you, Elaine.
And lastly, budget listening sessions and an online forum. So we've talked about scheduling some budget listening sessions, trying to hopefully coordinate those with other events to get people, go places where people already are. On January 29th, there's a coffee house at the library in the evening, so that would be an opportunity for the board to be there in advance of that event. They won't be coming out from that event, they'll just be going in and staying there. So you'd be there ahead of that event. On January 21st or the 28th, the Senior Center has opportunities for a coffee chat in the morning. Go there and spend an hour at the Senior Center and speak with those who are there. Another option is to be at a table in the lobby on a Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Because those are their busiest days. So there's a couple of opportunities that we identified. And then there's also dates at the farmers market on all Sundays.
For the farmer's market, we did that last year, and it was kind of split up. Can you remind me of how we felt the turnout was for that? Because I think that was the first time we tried that?
Yeah, it was very low turnout.
There are a lot of people who go to the farmers market, but most of them are from other communities.
Or at least half, yeah.
Yeah. So I just bring that up. I thought it wasn't the best turnout, so if we want to rethink if there's a better time or a different time, I just want us to be able to talk about that.
I'd love for us to find a time to do like something with HCAM almost, where we're doing like a little bit of a deliberate televised Q&A or something like that.
Oh, they would love to do that.
Yeah, that's something that's been personally on my radar. I don't want to speak for all of you, but I would like to do something like that and make ourselves more accessible.
Yeah, I think the coffee house at the library sounds good. I should be able to attend that one. Yeah, I wish we could think of another weekend thing and just instead of the farmer's market, since there wasn't really much turnout and not a really good place to sit.
Yeah, if you know of any events that might be good for this.
Yeah, please send something in, folks, even if it's just a shameless plug for somewhere where you're doing something. If there's going to be people there and they're citizens of this town, let us know.
And I'm certainly open to the HCAM idea, just if I don't get much attendance at those either, but.
No, I know. I just want to be able to put something out.
And then we will, starting tomorrow, we'll publicize an online budget listening form that people can submit ideas and questions, recommendations online. We did that last year, and that's what received the most feedback.
Great.
Okay.
That's an open-ended question. People can write whatever they like.
Perfect.
Yep, I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Thursday evening, we start with the schools. Is that what we're doing Thursday, that joint meeting?
Yes.
Around the budget?
Yep.
Is appropriations going to that as well?
Yes.
Okay, great,
Capital improvement.
great.
And there's a Zoom option if we're busy.
There is.
Because I'm going to be remote for that one.
Okay, I think that brings us to liaison reports, board invites. Who would like to start? Brian?
I'm all set, thank you.
I got nothing, actually.
I don't think I have anything either. I sent to Elaine recently, there's been a lot of workshops by the state lately about the digital accessibility requirements that cities and towns of our size are going to be required to be fully meet all the accessibility requirements for digital documents by April 2027. And it's just a ginormous task, and it's not really just the tech department. It has to be all levels of staff need to make sure all their documents now are accessible. Even our own packets are not accessible. So, and some are worse. Some people's packets are worse, some committees. So I just want to bring that to everyone's attention.
Is this something we should maybe have IT come and have a conversation with us about, just to make sure they're on top of it and see if they need support?
They do have a consultant working for them already.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, we did get the one invite tonight. Was it Harindra? Was it this Sunday?
Oh, yes.
At 9:30 at the YMCA? I think it was this Sunday, right? I think they said
It's the 21st
21st?
at 9:30 to 11:30
Okay.
at the Y. Yeah.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything else new right now. So with that, we'll go to future board agenda items. I talked about one tonight as part of our public forum response. You know, the first part of that idea of having a discussion with the board with, we'll invite, the superintendent, the fire department, the police department to have an overall public safety emergency response discussion. I think that's step one, is just because the scope of that would need to be defined, and everyone needs to be on the same page as we look at a comprehensive review of those things and just understand where we can be better as a town. So I'm going to put that on
That's
as
in
one.
addition to what we already have here, right? What you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
Yes, that's a new one.
Agree.
So that was the only new one I had. Can we got the item J. We had the fire department and the LNG Eversource folks join us. I don't know if we had talked about having them come back to give a future update, so maybe we can just kind of change that to, follow up from the LNG meeting. So.
Why don't you can go ahead and consolidate L, police leadership concerns. We can consolidate that in with just emergency services review. I don't think I need to single it out.
Anyone else thoughts?
I don't think so.
I had one quickie, Elaine. Maybe I should have mentioned this during town manager, but during next town manager report, could you give us like a 30-second update on the W-2 issue that we get a constant stream of emails about to the select board? I want to be clear. I know this is a school thing. I'm not trying to have an opinion, oversight, authority, anything like that. It's just, folks, we get more emails about this topic than I think anything else aside from our issues with Hillers. I want you to know that when you send an email to the board, even if you don't always get a response, we read them, we see them. It is very clear how painful this has been for you. It is very clear how angry and unacceptable this is. I want to bring that discussion here, even if we are not the governing board, just so you can know when you talk to your leaders in town and you express pain, we hear you and it hurts us too.
With that, any final thoughts? If not,
I'm good.
I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Since this is technically our last meeting, just us, happy holidays. It's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you, and I'm really proud of the work we've done in just my limited time here. I hope you all are as well. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Do we need to actually motion to adjourn?
Yeah, so I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Are we going to have an additional public comment? Or
Nah.
no one's ready? Okay.
No, because I think we ran out before the 6:20.
Oh, okay.
If someone would like to speak, as part of the additional, I'll probably clarify at future meetings that, if people stop.
Only if we go out over.
Yeah, it was intended to be kind of like a continuation of that, not like a separate agenda item, so. Karen, you're the only one here.
And there's no hands on Zoom, so.
Okay. All right, I'll clarify that better next time. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Sorry, the one time I look.
Motion, second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Brian, 7:30.